Hi, I'm Jonathan Weinberg, and last time I was doing a little review of a Frank Lloyd Wright pen by Acme Studio, so I thought I'd follow up with another review of a pen that I have from Acme Studio that I got quite a while ago, that is designed by the architectural firm of Robert and Trix Haussmann. They're Swiss architects, designers. And the difference between this pen and the Frank Lloyd Wright pen that I showed last time was that this pen has been completely designed by the actual named architects, while the Frank Lloyd Wright pen is kind of homage to Frank Lloyd Wright, and it just uses a design on a kind of standard pen. This one is designed completely by, well, they didn't design the nibs, but they designed the outer part of the pen body, and it's quite unusual looking, as you can see. It's made out of kind of plastic resin, and you notice it doesn't have a clip, and you can't post it. It looks like you should be able to post it, but you can't. You can put it like this, but it won't stay, which I think is kind of unfortunate because without posting, it's not very big. It actually has a kind of Dr. Seuss look to it, to me. So they designed it in 1999, and I guess it hasn't sold so well because for when I got it, it was quite inexpensive, and it's back up to $90 on the Acme Studio website. It doesn't have a converter. It uses international cartridges. I imagine you could put a mini converter into it, an international mini converter. Maybe the kind that you put in a Coeco Sport. That might work. And you know, they're interesting architectural pair. They're best known for their interior designs, and they're incredibly influential on postmodernist architecture and on architectural theory. Most of their designs, most famous designs, are really interior designs or interventions that critique, particularly modernist ideas of sort of form and function. Their work, it's not that their work doesn't function, but it doesn't necessarily follow function in the most obvious ways, or it makes you think about the relationship of an object to its function and how it should look. So I will, test this out. It does write. And I think it actually is quite charming looking. It's quite beautiful, but you can't put it on in your pen pocket. And I don't think it's the most comfortable pen for writing every day, but it's fun. And fountain pens are very repetitive, and I wish that there were more pens where people really had fun trying to come up with different designs like this. I think that Acme Studio, if they really want to be a source for art pens, pens designed by artists, they should look more like this than just putting a drawing on the side of the pen. This to me is much more exciting and interesting. I guess another point to make is that the nib on this, I think it's either a Bach or a Jofo nib. So the nib itself is not unusual. It's really the housing itself in this beautiful color. It also comes in a black and white design as well. So I will do a little writing sample, and that's really it for this pen. Thanks. Okay, now it's Acme Studios, and it is the rings designed by Robert and Trix Haussmann. It has an international cartridge, which I got actually out of a Conklin box. So it's probably Monteverde ink. And this is a medium nib. Okay. Now I would say, I mean, write's okay. It's not a great nib. Quick Brown Fox jumped over the lazy dog. It's a little dry. It's okay. It's not super smooth. There's absolutely no variation to the line. And the thing about holding it is it's a little too small. At least it's too small for my hand. And it's kind of odd in my hand. It would be great if you could have posted it. And it looks like you should be able to post it, but you can't. And the other thing, of course, about it is that because it's round like this, if you put it on a table, it can easily roll off the table. So I think that's another problem with it. On the other hand, I really like the colors of it. And I like it's funny, it's amusing. You know, it wouldn't have been hard to make this a both more functional pen, and I think a more beautiful pen if it was made more with the idea of holding it in your hand. But as I say, they really are all about style over function and making things that are really beautiful objects. And it has a kind of simplicity to the shape of it, you know, a completeness to it. And particularly when you put it together like that, it's really nice. So it looks kind of seamless and elegant like this, even though it doesn't necessarily function so well. And of course, you know, in the history of modern architecture, in a way that sort of is one of the reasons that modern architecture often get a bad name, is because people think, oh, well, you know, they're all about style, not about how does something really function. And I think that's really unfair. I think that's not true of so many really wonderful architects who lead the way in thinking about how to reimagine the way we use objects and things. But anyway, I like having this. I like the way it looks and everything. It's just I'm not going to use it to write very often. It really becomes a collector's item, I think, rather than something that you utilize every day. Thanks. There it goes. It's rolling away. Ooh. Ooh.